My name's Scott Carson. I am I'm a commercial pilot. I fly for JetBlue Airways, and I'm also a lieutenant colonel in the Air National Guard. And I came across Charles actually in 2014, believe it or not, at a note buying conference. I was there, and he actually happened to be a guest speaker. Really had nothing to do with notes, but I had always wanted to get into multifamily. And so I sat on it for a while. I had wanted to reach out to him, but I had some other things going on. Life got in the way. And then this summer, I finally just said, enough is enough. I'm going to do this. And so I had a little bit of background with multifamily. I'd never owned anything, but I knew kind of, how the numbers work, how you can create value in a multifamily property, et cetera. I was a YouTube genius like everyone else, and was able to get on YouTube and find a bunch of videos. Some of it's good, some of it's nonsense. But the thing that I liked about Charles, when I first called him, actually out of the blue, like 2 years ago. So this was to be in let's say February of 2017. I was walking through the terminal in Orlando. I just gotten back from a flight, and I sent him an email, and he called me in like 5 minutes, which I thought was pretty cool because I know he's a busy guy. And so we talked for like 30, 45 minutes, and it was a really good conversation. I wasn't sure at the time if I was ready to pull the trigger, but about a year later, I decided that I was, because you're never going to have enough money. You're never going to be smart enough. Your kids are never going to be out of the house enough. Nothing is ever going to be good enough. And so finally I just said, okay, I'm going to do it. And so I pulled the trigger. And so now I'm really glad I did. There's a wealth of knowledge in the owners forum. There's actually people that own properties. Charlie takes you step by step on how to find, evaluate, and close, and then all the details that are in the middle with, all the stuff that I don't even know the right questions to ask, but Charlie knows all that stuff, and he is there to not let you screw up. And so that's why it gives me a breath. It gives me a breath of fresh air, and lets me sleep a little bit easier at night. So from my perspective as an investor, I'm going after a larger multifamily properties, 150 plus unit. I do not have $1 million. I don't even have $200,000. So there's no way that I'm going to be able to do this deal on my own. And Charlie knows how to get you in touch with the capital that you need in order to put that 20, 30% down, so that you can acquire the property and then run it effectively, rehab it after that, and then the things to do to maximize the value. So there's some new things that are going on right now that I like, where it's going to be a little bit easier to find that capital. And so the big picture is, if you want to do multifamily property, Charlie's your guy. I highly recommend him. And the only thing that you have to do is get out there and find a deal. And so Charlie has said this a couple of times. He may or may not remember it, but no good deed goes unpunished, and no good deal goes unfunded. So if you can just get out there and find your deal, there's money to fund it, and you'll be able to close. Cool. So that's my story. I recommend Charlie, and I hope to see you guys soon here in the forum.